Imagine all the techniques that he developed over the 50 years. Oh, by the way, that machine that you see on the right, that was the first 8-track. There's another picture of two guys trying to carry it out of the Gibson Museum. It's two guys in a dolly. In February 2005, Les Paul is inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame because he helped invent multi-track recording, tape echo, tape delay, layering, close mic recording, cut and paste. Oh, everything we see there, for those of you who are still in the industry today, all those cut and paste and all those techniques is something that he developed back in 1948 through 1960. So for all of you engineers out there, help keep his spirit alive. Keep tinkering, keep finding new ways to solve problems. You never know that one of you might be the next inductee into the Inventors Hall of Fame. Every man leaves a legacy. For an itinerant tinkerer like Les Paul, who made things to do things, what better way to honor him than to hear what some of the best players in his industry had to say. My main guitar is a Les Paul. A lot of the great guitar players played a Les Paul, so I identified with the sound of it. It is an extension of what I am trying to communicate as a musician. By Slash of Guns N' Roses. Les Paul's an old friend of mine. He gave me this special white Les Paul. He wound the pickups himself for my birthday, first time I met him. I play everything from heavy metal to blues to jazz on it. He just hit it right on the head when he designed the Les Paul. I like it better than most girlfriends. The godfather of rock and roll, I call him. Without him, none of us would have a job. That's Richie Sambora of Bon Jovi. I don't think there's a guitar player who wasn't influenced by Les. When our lead guitar player, Noki Edwards, first had Les's stuff back in the day, Noki didn't know it was speeded up. So that's the way he learned how to play it, and that's when he started his fast fingers going. Les was the first to do many things. He just blew us away when we heard his music. Don Wilson of the Ventures. And the list goes on and on and on. What Les was going after was I was interested in proving that a vibration-free top was the way to go. I even built a guitar out of a railroad tie to prove it. I wanted to amplify pure string vibration without the resonance of the wood getting involved in the sound. So, with the good graces of the Epiphone president at the time, Paul used the Epiphone plant and machinery in 1941 to bring his vision to fruition. He affectionately dubbed the guitar the Log. And what he says about it, at another time he made it, it was nothing but a 2x4 plank with strings stretched on it and a pickup. He brought it to he goes, I took it to the club and it wasn't received very well. They just didn't respond. As soon as I put the wings on it and fastened two sides so it looked like a guitar, then they applauded. That's when I realized that many people hear with their eyes. So what many people don't know is that Les Paul first submitted his design in 1945 to Gibson, and they told him to take a hike. It was a broomstick with a pickup, is what they said. Fast forward to when he has his own radio show and is about to be on TV, and they avidly court him, even driving deep into the Pennsylvania mountains to deliver the first model to the newlyweds, Les Paul and Mary Ford. Les played it, and his eyes lighted up. He signed on as the namesake of Gibson's first electric solid body with exclusive design privileges. Working closely with Les Paul, Gibson forged a relationship that would change popular culture forever. So what is a Les Paul? I have a beautiful array of them right there. 1952, the first one comes out. It's the Les Paul Gold Top. It was the first solid body electric. It featured a gold top nitrocellulose lacquer finish, no serial number, a trapeze tailpiece, Clues-on tuners, and a pair of P90 pickups, and retailed for $210. And he wanted them gold so they would look expensive. 1953, they actually start putting serial numbers on them, and they take off the trapeze tailpiece and change it for a new combined wraparound tailpiece. Helps with some of the palm muting issues. They also introduced a Les Paul Jr., They had in 1955, they have the Les Paul Special. And they also have the Les Paul Junior TV Yellow in 1955. They wanted that because white glares on TV, so they introduced the yellow so that you could see through to the grain. Helps prevent the glare on TV, and it looks white on TV. 1956, they have the Les Paul Junior 3/4. 1957 is when they introduce the humbucker. The first time the humbucker appears is in 1957. Some of the most sought-after pickups. The pickups alone are worth quite a bundle. You put all this natural evolution from 1952 through to 1957, and then 1958 comes out, which leads us to the most famous and sought-after guitars anywhere. It's the perfect guitar, the Les Paul Sunburst from 58 to 59. It was replaced with a Cherry Sunburst. That's the 52. Go on to the next one. Right there. That's actually out of Steve Lukather's collection. He doesn't know I have the photo. They went through some minor changes during that period, but this is a guitar that everybody wants. The guitars went in and out of vogue for a little while. They actually dropped the Les Paul line from 61 through to 66 due to some personal issues that Les was having. They came back in the 60s. In the 68, they introduced the Deluxe. They also introduced in 78 the Les Paul Pro Deluxe. The Studio was introduced in 1983, which is all the things in a Les Paul that makes the sound, but without as much ornamentation. Modern Les Pauls. From 86, they start playing around with some different things. You also have Les Paul's recording guitar that comes out in that era. 2007, Gibson releases the Robot Guitar, a guitar that can tune itself. 2009, the Darkfire. As they say, guitar claims that this guitar will produce every imaginable guitar sound. This is a natural evolution, and it's tinkering. It carries on the spirit of Les Paul to do things that make sound and make the guitar just sound right. It's the evolution of perfection. This is his spirit living through in Gibson guitars today. So, I'll tell you just a 10-second anecdote about my experience with Les Paul. I was actually in New York for the 80s and the 90s, and I saw Les not at the Iridium, but at a far dankier and smaller nightclub called Fat Tuesdays back in '92. And I remember looking at the back of the Village Voice one day, and I'm going, wait a minute, that's Les Paul. He's still alive? I got to go see this. So I get a chance to go down, and I'm running clubs, so I kind of know the guy at the door, so I'm able to get in, and I watch, and I am just amazed that here is the man that gave birth. And at that time, I was playing guitar, I was doing a little lead singing, I wanted to be a front man, I was young and sexy, and I decided to stop being a front man at that point because there's no chance I was ever going to come anywhere near that mastery. However, he did inspire me to continue on with my career in engineering, just by watching him, just by listening to him, by knowing that this is a man that this is what happens when you throw your passion and devotion into your entire life's work. This is something that hopefully one day I'll be able to contribute. I don't know how, but everyone in this room, if you have a passion, please follow it. This is keeping his spirit and his life alive.